pan. When we followed our dreams to buy a farmhouse across the country, we left lots of loved ones back in the West. And every once in a while, those loved ones come back to visit us. So I want to invite you along as we host my family for a few days. I'm going to share with you guys 3 comforting home cooked meals with a little bit of dessert included, and ways that I try to make my guests feel like they're home. Now, I need to go and get my parents from the airport, but before I do so, I am grabbing a whole frozen chicken from the freezer and I'm throwing it into my Instapot. I'm going to put some onions and celery and carrots, water, a little bit of herbs and salt and pepper, and get that going so we have some broth when we get back. We can have a nice hot soup. Traveling can be so hard on your body. It can be just exhausting, whether you go by plane or you're driving for long hours in the car, especially with a bunch of kids. So I think making a soup for the first day they're here is kind of one of my signature moves, especially with a nice comforting bone broth. It's enriching, it's comforting, and it's light. It's a great way to bring people home. So we're going to be making a chicken pot pie soup for tonight's dinner. It's going to be loaded with vegetables. You can see I have some onions, carrots, and celery that I'm starting out by sauteing in some butter. I'm also going to throw in a couple of our russet potatoes that we grew in the garden. We're also going to add a little bit of garlic cloves. Let that cook for a couple minutes. Throw in some salt and pepper. And go ahead and add some of your favorite herbs. To make it easy on myself, I just throw in a pinch of Italian herbs. The soup is going to be a thick, creamy soup, just like the filling inside a chicken pot pie. So I'm adding about 1/3 to a half a cup of flour. If you need to add a little bit of butter, if it seems dry, go ahead and do that. I stir that together, let it sizzle for a few minutes, and then I'm going to add some of our fresh chicken bone broth that we started at the beginning of the day. About 4 to 6 cups. And when I throw my chicken into the Instapot, when it's frozen, I put it in for 2 hours. The broth is great and the chicken is nice and tender and shreddable. As we are preparing for the holidays, and there's lots of get-togethers, celebrations, gatherings with friends and family, there are a few things that I do to get ready to boost our immune systems and take care of our bodies and just overall health. And that's why I'm so grateful that Seed is kindly sponsoring today's video. Seed's DS-01 Daily Symbiotic is a prebiotic and a probiotic. When I wake up in the morning before all of the kids are awake, I take these 2 pills with some water before I've eaten anything. What's so cool about these 2 little capsules is it's more like taking 4 little capsules. They have a 2-part system, and that's what really sets them apart from all the competition. The prebiotic is in the first capsule. Within that, there is the probiotic. That first capsule dissolves within your stomach and sends that smaller capsule all the way through your system, all the way down to your colon, instead of getting lost in your stomach acids before it can even get to your gut, which is where it does its real work. Seed's DS-01 is known for helping with bloating, gas, and regularity. And especially during the holiday season when we're eating lots of fatty foods, sugary, breads, cookies, all the things, this is really what you can rely on to keep you regular, and that's what drew me to this probiotic. On top of gut benefits. It also helps with skin. When your gut biome is healthy and balanced, then all the nutrients can get to your skin, which helps with the fine lines and the glow and all the things that we really desire and need to look healthy and to feel good. It also helps with your heart health and giving you a good balance with your cholesterol, good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. The handy thing is that these pills don't have to be refrigerated. And when you make your first order, you get a travel size little vial that you can put your pills in so you don't have to miss a day when you're out visiting family or traveling for the holidays. Seed is also big on no waste, and so they send you this nice glass container for your pills to go in, but then they also send you each month a package that you can refill your nice glass bottle with. So if you want to join me in boosting my gut health, my immune system, getting ready for this winter season, you can go ahead and give Seed a try by using my code PioneerHome20. They're going to give us 20% off of our first order. You can follow my link down in the description box below, or you can use this handy QR code that's right up here on the screen to give them a try. Thanks so much for sponsoring today's video, Seed. In preparation for company to come over, I baked a bunch of sourdough. I baked 4 loaves of my favorite honey whole wheat sourdough sandwich loaves, and I baked 2 artisan loaves. And I froze most of the bread. I like to partner my soups with the artisan bread or maybe a drippy pasta, something we can soak it up with. And it's always good to have some sandwich bread on hand for toast and French toast, sandwiches for easy lunches, so having lots of bread on hand is definitely a key. Another thing I like to do is ask my company if they have any meal requests. The only meal request that my parents had was, please cook us yummy things that we've seen you do here on the channel. So I'm kind of pulling out some old favorites, and of course I'm putting together a little apple and pear crumble crisp for our dessert tonight. I know my dad loves everything with fresh fruit. The weather has been absolutely wonderful this week. Just perfect for being outside, and the boys are here to hunt. My dad is a big hunter. He would take me and my brothers hunting when we were teenagers, and now that my boys are getting older, he is continuing the tradition of hunting with family. So he's here to help the boys get some deer, and they're all outside setting up a deer tree stand and getting ready for their hunting. So today we're going to just prepare something that's really simple. I really love to do sheet pan dinners for company, especially if you're busy entertaining and having a good time. It's nice to have a meal that literally only takes you about 15 minutes to throw together and cooks in about 30 minutes. So we're gonna season some pork loins with some salt and pepper, some smoked paprika, garlic powder, onion powder. And my absolute favorite pairing with pork is a honey Dijon sauce. And giving these pork loins a dry rub ahead of time just packs it with flavor. You could even do this ahead of time. If you want to put a dry rub on your pork, put it in the fridge, maybe chop a bunch of your vegetables up, even prepare the sauce. So all you have to do is throw it all together on a sheet pan and bake it when it's dinner time. And when it comes to sheet pan dinners, the vegetables can be so diverse. So today, of course, we're chopping up some potatoes, and then I'm going to throw some broccoli on here. Jared actually brought in a bunch of vegetables from the garden. Well, whatever was left on the vines is what he brought in, because we're about to get our real first freeze coming up. So He brought in a box of radishes, and I do like to put radishes on my baking sheet. They're so much more mild when they're baked, so it's a good way to use them up. But we're also going to be making some pickled radishes soon, and that is my favorite way to have radishes, is pickling them and putting them in the refrigerator. I just can't get enough of these, and putting them on my salads and on just everything. They're so delicious. So for the quick pickle recipe, it's even parts vinegar and water. It's 1 cup of vinegar, 1 cup of water, and about 2 tablespoons of sugar. I also like to add mustard seeds and some clove, whole peppercorns, and whatever other spices you want to put in there. I always put some sliced onions in there. So boil that brine up and then pour it over your fresh sliced radishes and let it sit for at least 20 to 30 minutes, and then you can eat them right away. But they personally are better with time and can sit in the refrigerator for a couple months. And for a quick honey Dijon mustard sauce, do about a 1/2 cup of olive oil with some minced garlic and 1/4 cup of honey Dijon mustard. If you just have Dijon mustard, then use that 1/4 cup, but also add in a couple tablespoons of raw honey, some salt and pepper, and rub that all over your pork loins. It's delicious. I bake that at 400 degrees for about 30 minutes or until the juices in that pork run clear. And I just can't believe that we're literally pulling this watermelon fresh out of the garden. This is the last watermelon of the season, and she's crisp and juicy and beautiful. And I can't believe how long our watermelon went this year. So that was quite enjoyable. Because we had such a warm fall, we had such a long growing season. We did pull out a big box of green tomatoes from the garden. So if you have any good recipes with green tomatoes, let me know. The only thing I really know what to do with green tomatoes is fried green tomatoes, which is always a treat. And this is what dinner looks like tonight for our hungry hunters. And we put it together in about 45 minutes. It's simple to clean up because there's not a bunch of dishes. I know all guests can be very different, but I'm lucky enough to have a mom and a mother-in-law who, when they come to town, always help with the dishes, and it's so nice. My rule of thumb for having guests over is to always turn on the dishwasher, 2, maybe even 3 times throughout the day, just always keeping those dishes cycling through and washing right away so you have enough. I did take note that I need a little bit more silverware, so maybe on my next thrifting trip, I can pick up a few more forks, a few more spoons, so we don't run out so quickly. So it's nice to have something to munch on before dinner. So I'm just going to throw some toasted almonds, or I'm going to toast some almonds in the oven just by drizzling some of these raw almonds with some olive oil. I've sprinkled them with salt and rosemary and a little bit of everything bagel seasoning. And I'm going to keep an eye on that while I get dinner started. And as we're looking at the kitchen together, that reminds me I need to give you an update on the stove. And if you've been around the channel for a while, you're probably wondering where the blue paint on the stove has gone. Well, we are in the process of getting a new design, a new painting put up on the stove. I've commissioned a friend who is a beautiful artist to do a new design for me, something that has more earthy tones. We're talking about like acorns and oak leaves, things that remind me of what's going on outside in Missouri. But the only problem is that she had an allergic reaction to the enamel paints that she's using, which slowed down the process. So, poor thing. Hopefully, we can get it worked out. And this happened exactly at the moment we were making dinner. The boys ran into the dining room with some bass that they were really excited to show me. And this is not the first time. These boys do this sometimes. They come in with their catch. They want me to take a picture. They don't have any camera or phones with them. And that's how we get bass in the dining room. There's just never a dull moment around here in this little farmhouse with these kids running around. As we're preparing for the holidays and for family to come stay, friends coming to visit, it's nice to have some nuts in the freezer, some jars of olives, pickles, pickled beets, pickled vegetables that you can put out on a serving tray. I like to keep crackers and good cheeses to serve on hand for snacks and things that you can quickly pull out. Like I mentioned before, having bread on hand to be able to serve, make quick sandwiches with, and lots of lettuce for salads. For dinner, we're having an Herbes de Provence Lemon Chicken Orzo dish. This is one of my family's favorites, and they always ask for it, so I figured it would be good enough to serve for the guests, and it comes together pretty quickly, about 30 to 45 minutes, and I start out by sauteing minced onions and garlic and the Herbes de Provence, which is just an herb mixture that has rosemary, thyme, and oregano, marjoram, and some lavender in it. It's just beautiful with the lemon. And I saute all that, and then I throw in my chicken and brown that. And then I add about 1 cup of white wine and let that cook off. And while that's cooking down, I'm going to prepare some Brussels sprouts to go in the oven for some greens. So, how many of you actually make something new when your company comes over? You're always trying new recipes. I do that sometimes too. But it is nice to be able to fall back on some of your tried and true recipes that you know you can do really well. And that's exactly what we did this time with company. And by the way, I don't ever usually cut my Brussels sprouts on a sheet pan, but I guess I must have been in a hurry. So it's a little unconventional, but that's what we did tonight. And I sprinkled them with some olive oil, garlic powder, onion powder, and salt and pepper. So now our sauce is pretty much thickened, and I'm going to add 2 cups of chicken bone broth. I've got some of my homemade stuff from earlier, and then I'm also going to add some Kettle and Fire chicken bone broth as well. And then I failed to get this in the video, but we're going to add about 1.5 cups of orzo pasta, along with some lemon zest from 2 lemons and lemon juice from a whole lemon. You can use the other lemon for garnishing. The flavors in this dish are just amazing. Like I mentioned before, the complexity of the herbs is wonderful, but also with the lemon coming through and the creaminess that there is as well. It's just a really rich, but bright and wonderful dish, and everyone seems to love this. And you can see that I'm just adding a little bit more garlic here and there, adding a little bit more Herbes de Provence, and about 1/2 cup of cream as well. So all of that's going in with the pasta, and we're going to let that boil until the pasta is done. And then we're going to be adding the chicken with all of its yummy juices back into the dish. And grate some Parmesan cheese on this. Put some of the lemons and some parsley, and it just looks beautiful, but it was incredibly simple. Cooking from scratch for the people you love is one of the greatest gifts you can give your friends and your family. It's something you made with your hands and your heart, and it's absolutely yummy. What a yummy, delicious gift you can give to your friends and your family when you're hosting. And the last thing I wanted to say about tips and things that I keep in mind when I'm helping my guests fill out home is allowing people to help you. And you don't have to do it all by yourself. You don't have to carry the weight of feeding all the people on your own. And so if you have guests who feel more comfortable cooking some of the dishes and pitching in, by all means, let them do that. And it makes everybody feel so much more comfortable, especially when people have something to do. Even if you're just asking them to put together the green salad or chop some vegetables that are going in your dish, it gives them the chance to be in the kitchen with you and to pull up a stool and sit down and talk and chat. And it's a way that you can be bonding in the kitchen and being together, and you're not just always away by yourself in the kitchen cooking and cleaning, but it can be a place that you can gather together and work together. The last thing that went on these Brussels sprouts is some balsamic vinegar and a little bit of maple syrup. And then I put it back in the oven just to kind of glaze up and get caramely. I love balsamic vinegar on my Brussels sprouts, especially during the holidays. So I hope this gave you guys some good ideas for hosting, some meals that you can really depend on. I'll put some recipes down in the description box. And I'm so excited for some of the holidays that are coming up and the things that we're going to do together here on the channel. So I will see you all next week, and I look forward to all the things ahead. Love you lots.